Have you ever felt it? That deafening silence in the dark, the one that rushes in the second the storm of passion subsides. You're lying there, your heart still playing a drum solo against your ribs, and next to you is a man who has suddenly become an unrateable statue. You can feel the warmth radiating from his skin. You can hear his breathing slow down, but his mind has become a fortress. And you're left on the outside, a ghost in his bed, asking the one question that has haunted women since the beginning of time. What in the world is he thinking right now? We've been sold a deeply insulting and dangerous lie. A lie whispered in magazines, shouted in movies, and accepted as common knowledge. The lie that men are simple creatures, like biological machines. That once the physical act is complete, a switch flips, their brain powers down, and their only thought is about sleep or a sandwich. But let me tell you, that is not just wrong. It is the most profound misunderstanding of the male psyche, and it's the very reason most women remain utterly forgettable to the men they desire most. The truth is infinitely more complex and electrifying. In those few fragile minutes after intimacy, his mind is not blank. It is the exact opposite. It is a hyper-receptive, psychologically porous and emotionally unguarded space. The cocktail of hormones flooding his system, primarily prolactin and oxytocin, has temporarily dismantled his ego's defenses. He is in his most raw, most vulnerable, and most impressionable state. And in this state, he is subconsciously running a series of profound silent tests. He doesn't even know he's doing it. He would never in a million years admit to it. But he is watching you. He is feeling the energy in the room. He is measuring your every micro movement, your every sigh, your every unspoken signal. And the results of these tests, which you likely don't even know you are taking, will determine everything. They determine whether you were simply a night of fleeting fun or whether you become a permanent, intoxicating fixture in his mind. They determine whether he feels an irresistible gravitational pull to draw you closer or a subtle, creeping need to pull away and create distance. These quiet, sacred moments are not the epilogue. They are the first chapter of what comes next. They are the fertile ground where mere physical attraction either withers and dies or blossoms into the kind of deep, obsessive connection that men will rearrange their entire lives for. So if you're ready to stop guessing and start knowing, if you are ready to learn the secret language of the afterglow and become the one woman who doesn't just pass his test but redefines the very scale, then listen and listen closely, because I am about to decode the 4 silent evaluations he's making, and I will show you how to become the only woman he will ever truly be unable to forget. The very first and most immediate test is one I call the performance echo. In the seconds after intimacy, a man's ego, which may have seemed bulletproof just moments before, becomes as fragile as spun glass. The bravado, the confidence, the raw masculine energy he projected has temporarily receded, leaving him in a state of quiet, profound vulnerability. His mind, now stripped of its usual armor, is desperately, silently searching for one thing: profound validation. But he is conditioned from boyhood that asking for this validation directly is a sign of weakness. He will never turn to you and ask, "Was I good enough? Did I make you feel incredible?" Because the mere thought of hearing a hesitant, polite, or even neutral answer is a soul-crushing blow to his core sense of masculine identity. So instead of using words, he turns to a source of information that is far more ancient and brutally honest. He raids your body. Your body in that moment becomes a truth serum. It cannot tell a lie. While your words can be coached and your compliments can be polite fictions, your body is broadcasting the unfiltered, uncensored truth of your experience. He is subconsciously scanning for 1,000 tiny cues that tell him the real story. He's listening to your breathing. Is it a deep, slow, rhythmic exhalation that seems to come from the very core of your being, a primal signal of deep bone, deep contentment? Or is it shallow, quick, and almost immediately normal, as if your body has already reset and is mentally moving on to its to-do list for tomorrow? He feels the way your muscles react. Do you instinctively melt into him, your body softening and molding itself against his, a subconscious gesture that communicates trust, safety, and a desire to prolong the closeness? Or do you create a tiny, almost imperceptible space between you, a millimeter of air that, to his hypersensitive state, feels like a mile-wide chasm of disconnection? He notices the smallest things. The lazy, contented way you might stretch like a cat, or the way you let out a sigh that is either one of profound satisfaction or one of simple, anticlimactic relief. A woman whose body radiates pleasure, contentment, and emotional presence becomes a mirror reflecting back to him an image of himself as a powerful, competent, and desirable man. It's not just about a physical release for him, it's a deep validation of his ability to provide pleasure, to create a positive, transcendent experience. When you turn to him, offer not a big performative grin, but a slow, sleepy, secret smile that is meant only for him. You are silently communicating a message more potent than any words. You did this. You are the source of this feeling inside me. That message bypasses all his logical filters and injects itself directly into the core of his masculine ego. It is an addictive, intoxicating feeling that he will subconsciously crave again and again from you and only you. Conversely, a woman whose body tells a different story can unknowingly inflict a deep, invisible wound. If you immediately tense up, if you instinctively pull the sheets to cover yourself, or if you turn your back to him without a second thought, his vulnerable brain does not process this rationally. He doesn't think, oh, she's just tired, or she's a bit shy about her body. His subconscious mind translates these actions into a single, brutal, and definitive word: rejection. It feels like a failed exam for which there is no appeal. This is why your genuine physical reaction is your most powerful tool in these moments. This is not about faking a theatrical performance. Men can sense inauthenticity a mile away, and it's a major turn off. It's about giving yourself permission to be fully present in the afterglow. Let yourself feel it. Let him see the quiet satisfaction on your face. Let him feel the warmth of your completely relaxed body against his. Let your non-verbal cues be the potent reassurance his fragile ego is secretly, desperately pleading for. When your body tells him he succeeded, you don't just make him feel good for a fleeting moment. You forge a powerful, addictive link in his mind between you and a profound sense of his own masculine validation. You become the source of a feeling he can't get anywhere else. The second silent test is about the emotional space you create. I call this the vacuum verdict. As the storm of physical intensity passes, it leaves behind an emotional vacuum. The moments are no longer filled with action and sensation, they are filled with silence. And that silence is not empty. It is a canvas, and the energy you project onto it paints a picture that tells him everything. What rushes in to fill that vacuum? Is it a palpable sense of warmth, a shared bubble of connection, and a feeling of profound comfort? Or is it a creeping, uncomfortable awkwardness, a growing distance, and a subtle but urgent sense of needing to escape? He feels this shift instantly, and his verdict is swift. Think of the difference between a sanctuary and a sterile hotel room. A sterile hotel room is a place of transit. It's functional, impersonal, and you're not meant to linger. The goal is to check out. When a woman in those post-intimacy moments immediately rolls over and grabs her phone, the blue light of the screen creating a digital wall between them, she is turning the bed into a hotel room. When she jumps up to rush to the bathroom and doesn't immediately return, or when she breaks the spell by talking about logistical, real-world problems like, I have to get up so early tomorrow, she is screaming with her actions, this is over. The transaction is complete. Welcome back to the cold, hard reality. For a man, this can trigger a deep-seated, primal fear of being used, of being seen as nothing more than a utility for her pleasure or a temporary fix for her loneliness. He will never, ever say, it hurts my feelings when you check your Instagram right after we've been so close. He will simply match her energy. He will become a little cooler, a little more distant. He will emotionally check out himself, reinforcing the tiny wall around his heart to protect himself from the perceived rejection. A sanctuary, on the other hand, is a sacred place of peace, safety, and unconditional acceptance. A woman who can create a sanctuary in those quiet moments becomes a rare and precious oasis in his often chaotic and demanding life. This isn't about filling the silence with nervous chatter or endless compliments. In fact, it's the opposite. It's about demonstrating a profound comfort in the shared quiet. It's about staying. When you simply lie with him, your head resting on his chest, feeling the rise and fall of his breathing, your fingers idly and absently tracing patterns on his arm or his stomach, you are weaving a spell of pure sanctuary. You are transforming the silence from something awkward that must be broken into something deeply intimate that can be shared. This ability to share a comfortable, contented silence is the ultimate hallmark of an emotionally mature and deeply bonded connection. And men live in a world where they are constantly under pressure to perform, to provide, to speak, to solve, to be horn. A moment of pure, peaceful, and wordless presence with a woman who needs absolutely nothing from him in that instant is an incredibly rare and intoxicatingly beautiful gift. He will begin to associate you not just with the fleeting thrill of passion, but with the profound and lasting feeling of peace. And in our frantic modern world, which of those two feelings do you think a man will ultimately rearrange his life to experience more of? The thrill is common, True peace is the rarest treasure. When you provide that sanctuary, when he learns that being with you means he can finally, truly let down his guard and just be, he will feel a pull towards you that he cannot logically explain and will not find with any other woman. You are no longer just his lover. You have become his sanctuary. The third and perhaps most deeply revealing test is what I call the cherish or discard protocol. This is where he gauges your signature aftercare style. And it's a powerful combination of how you treat him and, just as importantly, how you treat yourself in his presence. Right after the peak of intimacy, a man enters not just a physical refractory period, but an emotional one. His brain is awash in a hormonal bath that creates a temporary state of deep emotional openness and suggestibility. In this moment, he is like wet cement. New impressions can set easily and become a permanent part of his perception of you. The way you act in this delicate window is absolutely critical. Your aftercare signature is the lasting emotional imprint you leave on him. A woman with a low value, forgettable signature becomes cold, transactional, or visibly insecure. The moment the act is over, her warmth and affection plummet. She might offer a quick, perfunctory, "that was nice," and then immediately roll over to face the wall, creating a physical and emotional barrier. Or even more damagingly, she allows her own insecurities to flood the space. She yanks the blanket up to her chin. She shays away from the light. She refuses to make eye contact. She makes a self-deprecating joke about her body. A man perceives this insecurity in a very specific and often misinterpreted way. He doesn't think, oh, she has some complex body image issues that she's courageously working through. His subconscious, vulnerable mind translates her discomfort as discomfort with him. He thinks, she doesn't feel safe with me. She isn't comfortable with me. I have failed to make her feel completely at ease and adored. Her self-consciousness, paradoxically, becomes a reflection of his own perceived failure, and it erects a wall between them that is incredibly difficult to tear down. A woman with a high-value, unforgettable aftercare signature operates on a completely different level. She instinctively understands that the connection doesn't end with the physical act. It is in the aftermath that it truly deepens and solidifies. Her warmth is not a switch she flips on and off. It is a consistent, radiant energy. She maintains gentle, non-demanding physical contact, a soft, lingering kiss on his forehead, the gentle act of stroking his hair back from his face, whispering a small, genuine, and specific compliment that shows she was paying attention, something like, "I love the way you get that little smile right before you kiss me," which is infinitely more powerful than a generic and often unbelievable, "You're the best I've ever had." She might even do something incredibly simple yet profoundly nurturing, like getting up to bring him a glass of water without him even having to ask. These tiny, seemingly insignificant acts of care are devastatingly effective because they communicate a profound message that resonates deep in his soul. I care about you, the person, not just what your body can do for me. It tells him that he is not a disposable object of pleasure, but a man who is seen, valued, and cherished. Her confidence is the other half of this magnetic signature. When she is comfortable in her own skin, unashamed to be seen in the raw, unfiltered light of the moment, and can laugh and be playful in that exposed state, it is an incredibly powerful aphrodisiac. It signals a deep, unwavering self-acceptance that men find irresistibly magnetic. A woman who is truly at home in her own body gives him implicit permission to be at home in his, to be vulnerable, to be real. When you masterfully combine this consistent, nurturing warmth with a relaxed, unshakable self-confidence, you create an aftercare signature that makes him feel profoundly safe, deeply valued, and unbelievably lucky to be in your presence. You are no longer just a partner in a physical act. You have become a nurturing, confident, and warm presence that he will crave on an emotional level he didn't even know he had. This is the potent combination that makes a man want to hold on to you, not just for a night, but for a lifetime. Finally, we arrive at the fourth and most advanced evaluation, the search for the continuation clause. This is the subtle, masterful element that separates a single, memorable night from the true beginning of a deep, consuming obsession. A man, even a man who consciously believes he is terrified of commitment, is subconsciously and biologically wired to look for signs of a woman's long-term value and her potential for a future connection. The continuation clause is a small, non-needy, non-demanding word or gesture that skillfully builds a tiny, almost invisible bridge from the present moment into the future. It is a psychological masterstroke that transforms the encounter from a closed loop, an experience that is finished, complete, and filed away in the past, into a tantalizing open loop that his mind will be subconsciously compelled to ponder and seek to close later on. Let me be absolutely crystal clear. This is not about asking him a direct, needy question like, "So, when am I going to see you again?" That is the absolute antithesis of a continuation clause. It is a demand born of insecurity. It applies pressure, and it will almost certainly make him retreat and become evasive. A true continuation clause is subtle, playful, confident, and it assumes a future without ever demanding it. It can be the planting of a future inside joke. As you're both laughing about something absurd that happened, you might playfully say, "Okay, that is definitely going down in the official history books of us." This simple phrase does something remarkable. It creates a shared, labeled memory and implies that there is a history book that will have more entries. It can be a tiny callback to a conversation you had earlier, demonstrating that you listen and you care about his life beyond the bedroom. As you're both drifting off to sleep, you could whisper, "Don't forget you have that huge presentation tomorrow. You're going to absolutely crush it." This small gesture shows you were paying attention. You remember the details of his life. You are his cheerleader and you are invested in his success. It is a ridiculously powerful bonding agent that costs you absolutely nothing to give. It can even be a playful, forward-looking statement that feels light and fun. Something like, "Next time, we are definitely not forgetting to order the garlic bread with the pizza." This sentence is a work of art. It playfully and confidently assumes there will be a next time without any pressure or expectation. It frames future encounters as a fun, collaborative adventure that you are both a part of. These continuation clauses are like psychological breadcrumbs you strategically leave in his mind. They give his brain something positive and intriguing to latch onto long after he has left your presence. The next day, he won't just be replaying the physical moments in his head. He'll find himself smiling at the inside joke you created. He'll feel a surge of warmth remembering that you believed in him before his big meeting. He'll even find himself thinking about what toppings to get on that next time. Pizza. You have created an unresolved, positive tension in his mind. You have made yourself a recurring character in the ongoing story of his life, not just a guest star in a single, self-contained episode. The woman who masters the art of planting these subtle, confident continuation clauses is the woman he finds himself thinking about at random, inconvenient times the next day. She's the one he feels a strange, compelling, and urgent need to text, not just because he wants a repeat of the physical experience, but because on a deeper level, he wants to continue the fascinating, engaging story that she so expertly started. She has anchored herself in his future, and his subconscious mind will work tirelessly to sail his ship back to her shores. So there you have it, the 4 silent, secret tests that are happening in those hushed, intimate moments you may have previously thought were insignificant. He is reading your body's performance echo, subconsciously seeking that unspoken, honest review. He is feeling out the vacuum verdict, deciding if you have created a soul-soothing sanctuary or a cold, impersonal escape room. He is evaluating your cherish or discard protocol, determining if your aftercare signature makes him feel deeply valued or quickly used. And his subconscious is scanning for a continuation clause, that tiny, brilliant hook that will keep you on his mind and ensure he comes back for more. You must understand that these moments after intimacy are your secret weapon. They are the hidden battlefield where the real war for his heart and mind is won. This is not about playing games or learning manipulative tricks. It is about developing a profound understanding of the male psyche and using that knowledge to forge a connection that is authentic, deep, and unbreakable. It's about presence, that warmth, unwavering confidence, and genuine care. You now possess the blueprint. You have been given the key to decode the secret, silent language that he will never, ever speak out loud. The only question left is, what will you do with this power? Now, I want to hear from you. In the comments below, be honest and tell me which one of these 4 silent tests was the biggest aha moment for you. Was it understanding the sheer power of your non-verbal reaction, or was it the idea of planting a continuation clause? I read every single comment, and your stories are what fuels this community. And if this video unlocked a new level of understanding for you, do me a favor and show your support by hitting that like button. And be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications for more deep dives into the secrets of profound attraction and lasting connection. And please share this with a friend who is still lying in the dark, guessing what he's thinking. Remember this one truth. You don't have to be the most beautiful or the most skilled woman he's ever been with. You simply have to be the most present. Your warmth, your confidence, and your conscious, deliberate connection in those quiet minutes are the most powerful aphrodisiacs on planet Earth. Master them, and you will become not just unforgettable, but utterly irreplaceable.